And what I was sure about is that I did not want to write another book on communication. Like there are millions of books about communication, right? So it needs to be kind of a special angle, talking about human behavior, but then written in a data language.
How does a person answer why something happens?
When you look at the findings in different fields,
Scant is the part of life in which we live.
To attain the highest values.
So I want to unpack some of the stuff that you've put into mind speaking as a framework, as a methodology, and I want to first start with how did you learn that part, the sort of premise of the show here. Like, how did you come up with those ideas? How did they, just from the initial, like, okay, wait, I'm onto something, that's sort of like that idea moment, to actually organizing them and putting them into a framework? What does that look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a few years ago, before COVID, I decided to go on a trip around the world. And in the months before, I had already talked to many people about data analytics, and these analytical type of people, and communication and behaviors. And actually, it started a few years earlier. I was sitting on my balcony. It was a sunny Sunday afternoon, and I took a piece of paper, and I thought to myself, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I'm not really I have no clue how it's gonna work. What should be the business? What would be the model? Where do people pay me for? What should I know? So I took a blank piece of paper and I just wrote down all my passions. And then I tried to connect, all my passions and what may be demand for, what is happening in the market. So one idea I came up with is to use technology to improve presentation skills. So using virtual reality to create an environment, or kind of fake environment, mimic an environment where you're going to present either for 10 people or for 1,000, and you put this VR goggles on, and then you kind of rehearse your presentation. Because normally when you do your presentation, it's either your wife or your husband or someone else.
The mirror.
But it's not really real, right? You're not as nervous. Right. And studies show that you're actually getting nervous even with the VR. Anyway, apparently the company already existed. I talked to the company to see if we can work together, but I put that on the sidetrack. But slowly, once I did that exercise and wrote down, okay, what could be my new company, my creativity also started rolling. And it's this thing when you buy a Honda, you see Honda cars everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And I think it works the same with business. If you start to really do stuff and think about things, you see more opportunities. So, long story short, I decided, okay, when I come back from that trip around the world, I'll found my own company. So that's what I did. But during the trip around the world, I listened to a lot of podcasts and read a lot of books, so that triggered a lot of my creativity and ideas. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll write a PDF document of 20 pages about communication skills, people skills, lessons that I had learned until then in my career, just in the hope that people would benefit from it. But it started to grow and grow and grow, and at some point it was 50 pages, and I thought, okay, who's gonna read 50 pages from a PDF document? So maybe it's gonna work. So I was overthinking, what should I do with it? But then I decided, okay, I just write and see what happens. And eventually I talked to an editor, and everything went more professional. So it really started to grow. And to your question, where did I get the ideas or the insights? Is partly in my studies, behavioral economics, partly through my experience in data analytics, partly through interviews I've done with leaders in the industry and people working in data, and then also doing some academic research for my book. So I combined all those, and I wrote People Skills for Analytical Thinkers. And what I was sure about is that I did not want to write another book on communication. Like, there are millions of books about communication, right? So it needs to be kind of a special angle. And that's how I found it. Talking about human behavior, but then written in a data language.